Acrobat One here, coming at you lot with a new Yu-Gi-Oh video. And in today's Yu-Gi-Oh video, we are basically going to be doing ban list predictions. So, what I think is going to get hit on the ban list. Now, there's plenty of things that do need to get hit, and obviously there are stuff that I feel like will be hit now, just to preemptively hit before the Master Rule 2020 or Master Rule 5 adjusted, or whatever you want to call it. So there is some of the things on this list that kind of should probably be hit before then, but I feel like they'll be hit now just because they're a problem now. There's stuff coming down the line, but I feel like these need to be hit now, to be addressed now, so like the game can be a bit more balanced right now. So yeah, we're going to be looking at those cards as well, and also I'm going to have some reasons for why these cards should probably come back now before the Master Rule updated adjustment list. But guys, we're going to be doing a ban list prediction video. As I said, we're going to be going through various cards in this video. This video might be might be long, so I hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, let's get into this video with starting off with what I think is going to be banned. So, right at the start of this video, obviously a deck that does need to be hit is Orcust, and the card in Orcust that I feel like needs to be banned is Orcust Harp Horror. Now, obviously, Harp Horror would absolutely destroy Orcust if this card was banned, but let's be completely honest with each other. Orcust need this kind of hit. The deck is just running around. It is absolutely insane, and it just doesn't stop getting better, being able to incorporate so many other engines into it. And Orcust Harp Horror is basically the card that says, I'm going to summon any Orcust from my deck for free. And even if this card was banned and the rest was still there, the deck would still be there. It wouldn't be completely dead. It wouldn't be gone off the map. It would still function to some degree, maybe as an engine, maybe as a side piece, just so you can have the additional summon ability capabilities. But the deck wouldn't be at all as powerful as it is right now. And that's what I feel like Orcust needs a hit like this. Like, the deck is literally taking top spots in so many events so easy, having no issues. Either you're playing a pure Orcust variant, either you're playing a Sky Striker Orcust variant, either you're just playing any Orcust variant. This deck is making plays, is making waves, and it needs to be touched to kind of get rid of this problem. So Orcust is a deck that do need to be hit, it needs to be addressed, and it's something that does need to be touched now, sooner than later, because otherwise the deck's just going to keep making these waves. It's going to keep going busted, it's going to keep going insane. So if you just get rid of the deck now, if you get rid of a deck that literally just does so much right now by banning one of their key cards, Orcust Harp Horror, to stop them from being just able to summon so many cards from the deck for free, it would actually balance the deck out. Plus, it would also take away the stupid bomber thing where they literally just, Harp Horror, summon into a bomber zone, Skeleton, summon into a bomber zone, just free resources for days, honestly, let's be honest here. So, yeah, first card that I feel like needs to be banned is Harp Horror. It's definitely a card that should be banned, just because it just gives the deck so much free advantage and allows the deck to play through almost anything and just gives it so much free interaction. So, yeah, that's the first card. Let's get on to the next ban card, though, which is, name escapes me, I've got the image, I've got the picture here, though, is Tempest Magician. Pendulum FTK is a thing. It is a big thing, and honestly, how easy the FTK is to make and how easy it is to establish, that's not a good thing. Like, honestly, it's not a good thing at all. And honestly, Pendulum FTK cannot be a thing. It's happened in the past, it's been here, it needs to be killed. And Konami say that, hell, we kill FTKs as soon as they come out of the woodwork, or as soon as we can, and this is another FTK that's very easy to pull off in a Pendulum deck, and Pendulums can already do all this dumb stuff, making boards like 5 negates, making boards with like can OTK very easily. So banning the problem now just gets rid of it now and makes it not an issue later. So Tempest Magician gone, fair enough. Striker also need to be hit to a degree even more. Like, honestly, Striker, they've won so many events, they used it engines in so many decks, and a card that needs to be banned in Sky Striker is Sky Striker Hornet Drones. Sky Striker Hornet Drones is literally just like, okay, I can now play Engage in any deck I want, have access to the entire Sky Striker engine, be like, activate Engage, engage searches Hornet Drones summons, summon Kagari, Kagari adds back the Hornet Drones or an engage, so you can have whatever you want from the grave, and then just have free resources from there. One of the reasons this is so good in Orcust as well is because you literally just summon the Kagari, add back the engage will then go ahead and search you a Widow Anchor or a Shark Cannon, and then you just go ahead and make the Galatea with an Orcust that's in your hand. And honestly, if you do ban the drones, it means that the cards like Engage won't be actually used more in other decks, because the card is mainly used in majority of decks because the Hornet Drones is just a free body and a free monster just to enable in so many different decks. So banning drones will just sort that situation out on the spot. Now, those are all the cards that I feel like will be banned. I don't really see anything else being banned in the game currently, just because, well, there's not really a lot of things that should be banned right now. We shouldn't really see many massive bans other than these until we get the new Master Rule 2020 or Master Rule 5, however you like to call it, because like there's so many things that will come out of the woodwork once we get that once we get the adjustment, that a lot of things will have to be adjusted then. But these are things that should be adjusted now. But going on to the limited section, first card that should be limited is another Sky Striker card, and that is Sky Striker Ace Ray. Now, obviously, as I said before, Sky Striker have had a lot of play. They are so huge in the game, and they do need to be hit to a degree. And I believe Ray needs to be limited now. Ray has just been a card that can never be hit, purely because there are so little monsters in Sky Striker as possible. But now in Yu-Gi-Oh, now that we're getting Sky Striker Rose, Ace Rose, where it gives you free summons anyway whenever you summon a Sky Striker Ace monster, just come summon itself when an opponent's extra deck monster leaves the board. This is a weaker version of Ray and a harder version of Ray to use, so I feel like this is a card that should be implemented more into the deck, purely because if we have free Ray as well, that no one's going to be using Rose. You might use one Rose, but you won't really be using a lot of them, so I personally feel like you should limit Ray, one, to hit the deck quite a bit, because the deck does need to have some major hits on this list. Even though the deck is going to survive this ban list, I know it will be, because the deck is getting Rose, it's getting a new Link too. I still think they will hit the deck to a degree where it won't be a top contender deck anymore. It will still make appearances like in the top tables, probably still be as a top regionals, and maybe one or two spots in a YCS at best, but the deck needs to be hit where it doesn't have all of this potential power, seeing as there's just so much in the deck already. But yeah, Sky Striker is Ray to 1. Next, Sculpt Acrobat Joker to 1. Yeah, I feel like with like the new Pendulum support coming out, with the new Pendulum Magician, that's a key factor that could bring back Sculpt Acrobat Joker. With Pendulums being a deck that are the only deck that are really limited in Master Rule 2020, with the fact that, now you're the only deck that can use links, I feel like giving Sculpt Acrobat Joker back to the deck will give the deck that kind of resource that the deck was missing before, because honestly, Pendulums out as of recent years have been not very great. The Magician variants haven't done really anything, purely because we've had the Endymions from last year. Magicians in general haven't really been able to be very powerful because they're not very consistent outside of maybe drawing Pendulum Court or Duelist Alliance. And obviously you're not using Odd Eyes and you're not using the Performer Powers anymore, so there's not really any need for those. But bringing back a card like Sculpt Acrobat Joker will mean that there will be more variation in Pendulum builds altogether, and also it will mean that Pendulums will have that additional card to just give them that little kick in Master Rule 2020, and plus it will let them function a bit better in this current format that we're going into now in the new year. So I feel like Sculpt Acrobat Joker could come back because of that. So Sculpt Acrobat Joker to 1, I feel like is very possible and could potentially happen. So yeah, but another card that I feel like needs to be limited though is Thunder Dragon Colossus, and this is for multiple reasons. One, Master Rule 2020/5 is right around the corner, and you cannot allow a deck like Thunder Dragon to be able to make 3 Colossus in their main monster zones on turn 1. That is not a good thing to be allowed. You can't allow that in general, and this card should be hit before then. And 2, basically, any deck that searches is unable to play the game with this card at 1. The card is very hard to get rid of. It's not an easy card to go around. Like, being able to make multiple in the deck game currently, and then just go into a Hope Harbinger, then make a 3rd Colossus, so you can have that negate, plus your opponent can't search the deck. It's not really fair, and I feel like seeing as Thunder Dragon, or Thunder Dragons in general, such the Guard Dragon deck, is just such a big combo deck already, and it's something that's just huge in general. I feel like excuse me, I feel like limiting Colossus in general is something that needs to happen now and just get it out of the way, seeing as the deck, Thunder Dragons in general, are still a very powerful deck, even though we're not in Master Rule 5, and they're just going to get even more powerful later on down the line, so hit it now, get rid of the problems now. Like, Thunder Dragons in general, they should still be able to play with only one Colossus, but I feel like it would make the deck also go more towards a Titan-centric build, which I feel like is a lot fairer than just Thunder Dragon Turbo, so Colossus Turbo, so yeah, just my fault on that card. Should go to 1 though. A card that should be going from 0 to 1 though, because the card literally would do nothing in the game. Like, it might become an engine piece, but that's it. Is Zodiac Dryden. Now, obviously, from the last ban list we saw in the OCG, Zodiac Dryden was limited to 1 from banned, and personally, I feel like that could happen here as well. Now, hear me out. Zodiac were one of the most broken decks in the game at one point. Free Rat Peer, free Whiptail, free searchability with Broad Balls, and all of that along those lines. The deck was absolutely insane. But let's be honest, without Broad Ball, without Rat Peer, the deck is not that great. And honestly, 1 Dryden is not going to bring the deck back to full power. It will make it more of a cheesy side deck that you could play, have fun with in a tournament, and just have it there as an option. Sure, you might see some cheeky control decks playing it. You might see Barrage play Whiptail and make the Dryden to pop stuff. Like, that's fine. Like, it would take 3 extra X spots at most, and I feel like that would be a fair trade to play some Zoo cards plus some Dead Engine cards. But honestly, Dryden in general is not that busted a card. Sure, it pops a card on board, which isn't that busted, and I believe it's a face-up card as well. I've got the card text here, so I could actually pull that up now. Yeah, let's see. Once per turn, you can... Like, once per turn, during either player's turn... Yeah, you can target 1 face-up card on the field and destroy it. Like, it's not a busted card anymore. And there are so many other cards in the game, there's so many more dumb stuff in the game that Dryden at 1, it's not that big a deal, and I feel like it can come back to 1 very easily. So, people might hate me for it, but I personally feel like this card can come to 1. But yeah, another card on the thing that needs to go to 1 and shouldn't stay up free is Mystic Mine. And I think everybody in the game, except for you dirty players who play Mystic Mine, you burn, you dirty buggers, can agree with me here and say Mystic Mine isn't a fair card. This card is not fair in the game. It's very disgusting. It's very disrespectful in general, seeing as all the card really does is activate. You control monsters, you now can't play the game. And also in decks such as Mystic Burn that play like the DD Traveler that just literally puts itself on your opponent's board, and then you just burn your opponent to death with like the Poison of the Old Man card and the Magical Explosion. No, not Magical Explosion. The spell card that gains 1,000, deals 1,000 each standby phase per counter. Stuff like that. And honestly, this card is not a fun card. This card is not a fair card. I don't feel like this card should be allowed in the game at 3. I feel 1 is fine because it's like, sure, it's like a Saki card at 1, but with decks like Mystic Burn running around and all of that stuff, I feel like it's a card that shouldn't be allowed to be free in this game. So put it to 1, make it a fair, bit more balanced. Completely happy with that. Next though, another card that kind of ruins a lot of the game and also kind of needs to be hit because of the Master Rule change is There Can Only Be One. This is a card that says, oh, you are playing a deck that is focused around a single type. You now cannot play the game because of you only play this type. And personally, I feel like that isn't fair. I feel like a card that says you're not able to play the game, same as Mystic Mine, it shouldn't be up free in the game. Sure, there's cards like Vanity's Emptiness that are banned and stuff like that are kind of similar to this card in a way, but they don't prevent you from summoning as many times as you want. But this is a card that literally states you can only control 1 type, and the majority of decks in the game say we only play with 1 type. And especially seeing as we're going into Master Rule 5, such as 2020, just as I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that, I feel like it's something that does need to be hit now, because a lot of these decks that are going to come back are going to play against stuff like True Draco, are going to play against stuff like Sky Striker still, and cards like this in these decks will just say, oh, now your deck doesn't have a chance because this card exists. And I don't feel like that's fair, I don't feel like that's balanced, so I personally feel like they should limit There Can Only Be One, so decks like that don't happen, and things like that don't happen. So, yeah, There Can Only Be 1 to 1 it's kind of ironic, but it's also fair. But yeah, those are all I have for limiteds. I don't really feel like anything else would be limited in this ban list prediction, in this ban list. I don't feel like anything else would need to be limited, but let's go on to the semi-limited stuff that I feel like should be semi-limited. And the first card that I feel like should be semi-limited because it would do absolutely nothing in the game, even if it was, a free or at one. And that is Ritual Beast Ulti Konohawk. And guys, I don't know how much I can stress this enough, but Ritual Beasts would do nothing in this game currently. The deck is so slow. Yes, if you manage to open a Konohawk with an Elder, that means the deck can end on like multiple back row. Yes, that's a thing. But let's be honest. Ritual Beasts will do nothing in the game with more than one Konohawk. The deck can't function properly with two Konohawk. Like seriously, when you look at Ritual Beasts, when I look at it, I see this. I see a deck that needs to open a normal summon and also a monster that isn't a beast or a psychic, and just needs to go into a Ritual Beast fusion, tag out, tag back in, and have to have stuff in the grave or banished and stuff just so you can function. And the deck is so inconsistent that two Konohawk isn't going to make a difference. Like honestly, the deck is so inconsistent. The deck needs to rely so much on its opening hand that two Ulti Konohawk would do nothing. Honestly, this card could go to 2 very easily. It could go to 3 very easily, and it would do nothing. The game is so fast right now that 2 Konohawk, it's not going to do anything. So you might as well just bring it back to 3. So it means nothing, and who cares? Like honestly, it doesn't need to be at 1 anymore. It doesn't need to. It just doesn't. It's a space on the ban list that doesn't need to be happen. So bring it to 2, then bring it back to 3 later on. Yeah. But next, Sky Striker Engage. This card cannot be up free anymore. I understand that they won't hit it to 0 or 1 because the deck needs it for its consistency and the deck just can't function without it. But honestly, the deck being able to activate around 4 engages in a turn and then be able to just guarantee it through like Area 0, Area 0, Kagari, Shizuku, it's not good. It's not healthy. A control deck like that is just able to consistently get to engage, just consistently beat the opponent because, oh, I activated multiple engages in a turn and I'm able to just win because of it. It's not fair. It's basically Pot of Greed, and Pot of Greed is banned, so engage should not stay up free. I feel like it going to 2 is the most likely thing just because there's so much more support coming for that deck. They're not going to kill it, so 2 is a fair guess in my opinion, so yeah, engage to 2. I feel like it could potentially happen, so it might happen. Next, though, Book of Moon. This card doesn't need to be up free 1 anymore. One of the reasons I agreed with it being at 1 for so long is because if you summon something into the extra monster zone, then you weren't able to play the game. But going into Master Rule 5, that's going to do nothing. So having a Book of Moon, it's fine. Bring it to 2, bring it to 3 then. It's not going to do anything, so might as well. True Draco Face-Off. Is it? I don't think it's called Draco Face-Off. It's just Draco Face-Off, yeah. Just Draco Face-Off. Pendulums, again. The Dracos do nothing in Pendulums, so there's no reason for this card to be at 1. I feel like Luster's at 3 now. It wouldn't change the game if this was at 1. At 2, so bring it back to 2. It's not that busted. It literally just says I get a free monster and potentially a free card in my main monster zone. Plus, Pendulums are locked under the links anyway, so it's not like they can do a whole lot with that anyway. Like, yeah, like it's a potential free summon to get to an Electromite. That's all it is. Yeah. And that's all the semi-limited cards, but for the unlimited cards, a card that I feel like should go to free, especially before Master Rule 2020 is officially introduced into the game, and that is Maxie. Now, I've been testing so many different decks recently. I've been testing DDD, I've been testing Synchro Turbo, I've been testing Tellarknights, Heroes, all of this. And all of these decks special summon 100 times. They special summon so much that it's unbelievable. And personally, I feel like Maxie needs to come back because of it. Having a card like Maxie in the game balances these decks that special summon hundreds upon hundreds of times. And also, if these decks do special summon upon hundreds and hundreds of times, then if you Maxie them, you could potentially deck out. Plus, Maxie has so many outs in the game right now already as well, with potentially more outs coming out later on with stuff like Crossout Designator. So, that's there as well. Like, honestly, Maxie could come to free at any point in time, and with so many combo decks running around, and with so many just like insane special summon spam decks that are going to be back in the game thanks to Master Rule 2020, bringing back Maxie sooner than later is definitely a better special thing. Now, you can't bring it back to 1 because that's too sacky. You can't bring it back to 2 because that's too sacky. And you need to bring it back to 3 because that is the balance of the card. Free cards, free Maxie means that it's not sacky. 1 Maxie means it's absolutely sacky. So, think like the card needs to go back to 3. It makes the most sense purely because it will hurt combo decks. Combo decks will have this card will be able to go up against combo decks themselves. It's a card that also enables you going second possible very easily. And I know Konami have been trying to make going second a lot better. Like they're releasing a Lightning Storm soon. They've got Evenly Matched. They've got so many different hand traps. Oh my god, there are so many different hand traps. So honestly, Maxie is a card that can come back. There are so many outs like Called by the Grave and Ash Blossom currently in the game. Crossout Designator coming out later in the game. Solemn Strikes. Like, honestly, Maxie could come to free and it would pretty much just balance the game, meaning back row decks can play a lot easier. Combo decks wouldn't be able to just go crazy, and it would change the format to a very high degree. But guys, that's just my ban list predictions. All of this is my personal thoughts and opinions, of course. Like, Konami could do a lot of these, Konami might not do a lot of these. There are some that I highly think Konami should do, but obviously they might not. So, guys, why don't you tell me your thoughts in the comment section below? Tell me if you think Konami will hit these cards. Tell me if you think Konami won't hit these cards. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this, and maybe what you personally think Konami are going to hit on the ban list as well, or what they're going to unlock, or what they're going to, like, go away, you're not allowed to play the game. But, guys, this has been another Yu-Gi-Oh! Video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the team Facebook page, Team Black Rose Dragons. We're going to try and do a lot this year. We're going to go to regionals, big events, and all of that. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. And hopefully this year will be one of the best years of Yu-Gi-Oh! Yet. Robot1, signing out. Later.